Life is a time pass, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, पता नहीं, जो थारी राय सो भारी राय, nothing to do, nowhere to go, देखो सुनो मत बोलो, wherever, whenever, whatever you are, be 100% कर्नाटक, किसी को आओ मत कहो, किसी को जाओ मत कहो, ना कुछ पाना ना कुछ खोना, who asked you live at zero complaint level, मौज में रहो, be happy.
Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are studying in this Brihadaranyaka Upanishad the basic principle on a spiritual path, that we are someone other than the upadhi or the conditionings through which we are operating. See? Like I am a government servant. So I am a government servant when only I am holding that position. When that position is given up as in retirement, then I continue to be. I don't die. Therefore, the spiritual practice is first to come to accept and recognize our identity as independent of the conditioning through which we are expressing. See. And then, second thing, what are the experiences that we go through? So basically, there are three experiences: Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, waking, dream, and deep sleep. Now, what are the experiences in these various expressions? So, from the waking, after having gone through good and bad experiences in the waking world, one gets tired. So who gets tired? The waker, not the Paramatma that we are. It is the Atma or the Jivatma who gets tired, not the substratum Paramatma who is expressing through the gross body identification as Jivatma. So he gets tired. Then what he does? He starts another factory, and that is the dream factory. Then he becomes the dreamer there. Now, what is the principle that we have to understand is that although during the waking he was so much attached to the things and beings, without you I cannot live, without this I cannot sustain, all that dependence and attachment to the worldly things and beings are dropped. Then only the dream starts. So what is the principle that we have to learn from this thing? That we are not attached to anything or anybody in life. This is what we have to understand. And nobody will be able to do it for us. See, friends, the whole spiritual practice is only this, that you are not bound. You are not Jiva. You are the divine. This error in our own understanding about ourselves is creating the samsara. Therefore, in the dream also, tatra asangaha ayam purushaha iti asangata kartrutva hetoktaha. उक्तम च पूर्व कर्मवशात् यह स ईयते यत्र काममिति कामश्च हंगः अतो असिद्धः हेतुरुक्तः असंगो हि अयं पुरुषः न तु एतदस्ति किं तर्हि असंगः इति यदि उच्यते. See, so when it is said that the Purusha is unattached to all the good and bad things which are happening in the dream. Now how this is possible? So now I am reading the 16th mantra on the 949 page. सवा ईश एतस्मिन् स्वप्ने रत्वा चरित्वा दृष्ट्वैय पुण्यं च पापं च पुनः प्रतिन्यायं प्रतियोन्याद्रवति बुद्धान्तायैव स यत्र किञ्चित् पश्यति अन्वागतस्तेन भवति असङ्गः हि अयं पुरुषः इति एवम् एतद्याज्ञवल्क्य सोऽहं भगवते सहस्रं ददामि यतः ऊर्ध्वं विमोक्षायैव ब्रूहीति. Now this jiva, now who is the jiva? Paramatma having given up identification with the gross body and continuing the identification with the subtle body is the Jivatma. So this Atma or the Jivatma during the dream experience he is going through good and bad experiences, and whatever he has experienced in the waking it is the carry over. See, whatever desires or experiences were not possible in the waking, he starts creating his own in the dream. And after going through all the good and bad dream experiences, again he goes back to the waking state. In this manner, he is not attached to the achievements and failures, friends and enemies of the dream. He again goes back to the waking state. So as much he is unattached during the waking to the waking world, waking things and beings, equally so Paramatma is unattached to the gains and loss of the dream. The moment he is awake, that means his attachment is zero. See, therefore, one has to clearly understand that the Atma is Asanga. See, Bhavati ayam asangaha hi purushaha. Only this much we have to understand. Now this point I have brought to you a number of times. First principle is attachment is an illusion. Nobody can help us in this. See, illusion means what which appears but doesn't exist. Just we have to simply analyze our own experiences and learn. When something good or bad happens in somebody's life, on the day it happens, that time, what is the impact of that bad event? But as the time passes, the impact of that bad event starts reducing slowly. And after some time, we become philosopher. Oh, it happens to everybody. Unfortunately, happened to me also. But what can be done? It is a common thing. See, because he or she is no more attached to anything or anybody. Therefore, what is the real spiritual practice? These two things. We have to learn that we are not attached to the waking world, the waker and the gross body. If this we have accepted theoretically, thereafter start working on it. So, when I am not attached to anything, what does it mean? What is the meaning of non-attachment? Again, analyze your own experiences. So, our eyes are seeing all colors and forms. But eyes are not attached to any color or any form. Now, to know this, to recognize this, what is the sadhana we have to do? Nothing. This is what it is. That's it. See, my friends, we have to ourselves understand this. Nobody can do it for us. We have to have it. Unless we come to this, nobody can help us. So, the sense objects and the sense organs, what is the relationship? That the illuminator's sense organs are not influenced by the illumined respective sense objects. Now this is the truth. You don't have to do anything. And if this is happening that we are attached to this thing, come to know it is just an illusion, it is not the truth. Therefore, this Purushaha Asangaha, the Purusha is unattached, come to know. Similarly, कहाँ गया? सवा एष एतस्मिन् बुद्ध्वान्ते रत्वा रचित्वा दृष्टव्य पुण्यं च पापं च पुनः प्रतिन्याय प्रति योन्या द्रवति स्वप्नान्तायैव. Then after this Purusha or the Jiva having come out of the dream, then he again enters the waking experience. See? And there again he goes through good and bad experiences. Etasmin buddhvante ratva charitva drushtavya punyam ja papam ja puna pratinyayam prati yonyad dravati swapnanta ya eva. See? So again he goes back from the waking to dream and dream to waking. And in this manner, this jiva is going from one experience to another experience. After having said this thing, now two things we have seen. So the conditioned consciousness, the jiva, the chidabhasa, is going through the experiences of good and bad only because of identification. There is no other reason. See? So evam ayam purushaha atma swayam jyotihi karyakarana vilakshanaha tat prayojakaabhyam kamakarmana vilakshana yasman asangahi ayam purushaha asangatvat iti ayam arthaha sava esha etasmin samprasade ityadibhihi smritibihi kandikabihi pratipaditaha tatra eva asanga eva atmanaha. Therefore, the very purpose of these mantras is to bring to our notice the following things. One, that Paramatma is absolute one without a second. When the same Paramatma is supporting the illusory superimpositions of the gross body and subtle body, he takes the position of the Jivatma, the waker and the dreamer. And when he is seemingly influenced and attached to this, again coming and going from waking to dream, dream to waking, goes on and on and on. So if we have to see our life, what is our life? These two basic experiences. Waking, dream, then deep sleep. Again waking, dream, then deep sleep. In this manner, he continues to go through all these experiences. And what is meant by this? That neither the jiva is attached nor the Paramatma is attached. See, Paramatma is not attached because he is ekameva advitiya. Substratum is not attached by the superimpose or attached to the superimpose. Similarly, the superimposed illusion is also not attached to the substratum. See, our face, which is reflected in the mirror, so our face is not attached to the mirror. Similarly, the reflection in the mirror is also not attached to the mirror. Meaning was, attachment doesn't exist. Then how can you get rid of it? That which doesn't exist, how can you get rid of it? See? Same principle. All the relations, mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, they don't exist. How can you improve them? How can you please them? How can you make them happy? It is not possible. See, friends. Therefore, yasma jagrita swapnam swapnacha samprasadam samprasadacha punah swapnam kramena buddhanta jagritam buddhantascha punah swapnantam iti eva anukrama sancharena sthanatrayasya vitarekaha saditaha. In this manner, these are the three experiences: waking, dream and deep sleep. Waking, dream and deep sleep. And these are continuously going on. See? इति एव अनुक्रम संचारेण स्थानत्रयं व्यतिरेकः साधितः. Therefore, when waking is there, dream and deep sleep is not there. When dream is there, waking and deep sleep is not there. When deep sleep is there, then the waking and dreaming is not there. See? Is it not? So we are the same common. Bhagavad Gita. Mattaha smriti jnanam apohanancha. I only support waking, dream, deep sleep and samadhi. This is the Paramatma, our essential nature. But because we get erroneously identified with the body and the mind, waking, dream and deep sleep things happen. And therefore, पूर्वम अपि उपन्यस्ता अयम अर्थः स्वप्नो भूत्वा एवं लोकम अतिक्रामति मृत्योः रूपाणि इति. Therefore, earlier also it was said that death is nothing but disidentification and birth is nothing but identification. See, therefore, to make this for us to understand, here some examples or drishtanta is given. तद्यथा महामत्स्यः उभे कूले अनुसञ्चरति पूर्वं चापरं चैवमेवायं पुरुषः एतावत् उभौ अन्तम् अनुचरन्ति स्वप्नान्तं च बुद्धान्तं च. Example is given. Like a huge big fish is in the river, and sometime he goes to the left bank, sometime he goes to the right bank. So he keeps on moving. See, from the left bank to right bank. In the same manner, these conditioned expression, when the conditioning is that of the wife, then the man becomes the husband and goes in front of the wife. When the conditioning is the father, the same man becomes the son and goes in front of the father. In this manner, this Paramatma appears to be moving between the Jagrat and Sapna. But the truth is, Jagrat and Sapna, they are coming and going. Paramatma is not going anywhere, not coming. Therefore, when this particular example is given here, tad yatha mahamatsye ubhe kule anusancharati purvam cha aparam cha. So, the big fish is moving from here to there. Now don't imagine, therefore, Jiva is something like a fish. And therefore goes from one body to another body. He enters the dream and then he comes back to the waking. It's not the meaning. Then on the same Advitiya Tattva, because of this conditioning of the gross body identification, subtle body identification, and identification with their absence, these three experiences happen: Jagrat, Sapna, Sushupti. Jagrat Anubhava is only for the Jagrat Purush. Sapna experience is only for the Sapna Purush. See, therefore, our attention should be on the principle that is expounded. What is the principle? Asangoyam Purushaha. We are unattached to anything and any being. Hold on to this. Simply talking will not help. Then start working on it, proper understanding. When I am unattached means what? Unattached means like when we are standing in front of the mirror, we are unattached to the reflection. So when the mirror breaks, is the reflection breaking? No. Is our face breaking? No. Then nothing has happened. Na nirodho na cha utpatti, na baddho na cha sadhaka. Nothing has happened. Therefore, तद्यथा महान मत्स्ये उभे कूले अनुसंचरति पूर्वं च परं च एवं पुरुषा एतौ उभौ अन्तावनु अनुसंचरति स्वप्नान्तं च बुद्धान्तं च. In the same manner, this jiva is going from waking to dream, dream to waking, meaning what? The same actor is changing his costumes and becoming sometime man, sometime woman, sometime king, sometime a beggar. See, this is the purpose of this example. Therefore, when you take this example only at a surface level without a purpose given behind it, we will get rooted that there is Jiva which is real. Purpose is not to say the Jiva is real. Purpose is to say whether you take him as Jiva or Paramatma. Neither the Jiva is attached nor the Paramatma is attached. Attachment is an illusion. Now, atracha sthanatraya अनुसंचारेण स्वयं ज्योतिष आत्मा कार्यकरण संगात विदृक्तः काम कर्माभ्याम विविक्तक्तः स्वतः न अयम संसार धर्मवान उपाधि निमित्तमेव तस्य संसारित्वम अविद्या आरोपितम इति समुदायार्थक उक्तः. Now this is the conclusion of what we told you just now. Therefore, स्थानत्रय अनुसंचारेण स्वयं ज्योतिष आत्मनः. So the self-effulgent absolute reality is moving sometime in the waking, dream or deep sleep. Karya karana sanghata vidhiriktaha, and therefore is other than the gross body and the subtle body. Asya kama karmabhyam viviktokta. Therefore it has the Paramatma has nothing to do with the desire or the karma. Viviktodam swataha na ayam samsara dharmavan. Therefore, Paramatma is not associated with the samsara dharma, sukham, dukkham, labhani, friends, enemies. All the samsara dharma have no excess in our divine nature. They are not there. Upadhi nimittameva tasya samsaritvam. See, son becomes miserable because of the upadhi of the father. If the father died, the son, nothing happens to son. Nothing happens to the son even when the father is. But the son takes himself to be so real and he forgets that he is a man first, then the son. Same thing with the husband and the man. Therefore, upadhi nimittameva tu asya samsaritvam. How important it is. Upadhi nimitta. Because of our identification with the gross and subtle body, the personalities are born. And to come out of this right understanding is, the husband is not a vyakti, not an individuality. Husband is a abhivyakti, it is just a phenomenon. Any man getting married to any girl becomes a husband. See, more we understand this principle, we will play our role beautifully. Therefore, Ishavasya says, Kurvanneveha karmani jiji visheshatagam sama. Therefore, whatever role you have to play in your life, play perfectly, beautifully, 100%. Our Mahamantra, wherever you are, whenever you are, whatever you are, be 100%. You have learned spirituality, all spirituality. See, friends. So, upadhi nimittameva tu asya samsaritvam avidya adhyaropitam tu ityesha samudayartha uktaha. Therefore, samsara is only because of the upadhi, and we take this upadhi to be real, and we are really attached. See? Attachment is an illusion. Write it on a bold letters and put it on your mirror where you stand every day. Morning you get up, do want to do the brush, you stand in front of the mirror and first write this thing, read this thing. See, attachment is an illusion. So our face is not attached to the mirror. The reflection is not attached to the mirror. And when the mirror is destroyed, breaks, nothing happens to either me or to the reflection. This is our essential nature. See? So because of the mirror of the husband or the wife, we become the wife or the husband. So in fact, neither the husband or the wife is miserable, nor the man or the woman is miserable. It is only the illusion that I am miserable. Now, can there be any simpler spiritual practice than this? But we don't like simple things. We like complicated things. More complicated it is, oh, it is so good. See? Tatyarja jagra sapna sushupta sthananam trayanam viprakirdna rupaha ukta naha punjikrute ekatra darshitaha यस्मात् जागृते ससंगः समृत्युः स्वकारण संघातः उपलक्ष्य अविद्यया स्वप्ने तु कामसंयुक्तः मृत्युरूपो विनिर्मुक्तः उपलभ्यते सुषुप्ते पुनः संप्रसन्नो असंगः भवति असंगतापि दृश्यते एक वाक्यतया तु उपसंह्रियमाणं फलं नित्यमुक्तबुद्धस्वभावतः न त एकत्र पुञ्जीकृत्य प्रदर्शिता इति तत्प्रदर्शनाय कंडिका आरभ्यते. Now here a question is raised. See, you have told, or we were told, Jagra Sapna Sushupti Sthananam Trayanam Viprakirana Rupaha Uktaha. See, we have distinctly understood the three experiences of waking, dream and deep sleep. Then, and na punji krute ekatra darshitaha. See, but you have not told that they are in one place, together. They are not explained together. Because yasma jagrati sasangaha samrutyuhu sakarya sanghataha upalakshate avidyaya. Like in the waking experience, jagrite, sasangaha attached, samrutyuhu dies, and sakarana sanghataha and attached to the gross body, etc. And therefore upalakshate avidyaya. Swapne tu, but in the dream, स्वप्ने तो काम संयुक्तः मृत्यु रूप विनिर्मुक्तः उपलभ्यते. In the dream is only the desires which are basically creating havoc. There is no experience of death in the dream. Therefore, here mrityu rupa vinirmukta upalakshate sushupte punah, and in the deep sleep suprasanno asangaha bhavati asangatam api drishyate, and in deep sleep he is again suprasannaha asangaya, happy and unattached. Therefore ekavakyataya tas samhridyamanam phalam nityamukta shuddha svabhasya naikatra punjikrita. Therefore this one reality that you are talking about, you have not told them together. See, nityamukta shuddha buddha svabhava, that which is ever abiding in the absolute state without any impurity, this is our essential nature. This was together not explained. Na ekatra punjikrita pradarshita. Together it was not told. Iti tat pradarshanaya kandika arabhyate. Now to make this point, we start with the next mantra. See? Sushuptehi evam rupatasya vakshamana. तद्वा अस्य एतद् अतिछन्दः अपहृत पाप्मानं रूपम् इति यस्मादेवं रूपं विलक्षणं सुषुप्तं प्रवीक्षति तत्कथम् इति इत्याह दृष्टान्तेन स्वार्थस्य प्रकटीभावो भवति इति तद्दृष्टान्त उपदीयते. Now, in the deep sleep it was said that in the deep sleep he has gone beyond all the desires and apahata papmana bhaya rupam, and fear has disappeared. See? And therefore this who is free from their desire and fear, in this Atma enters. How he enters in this thing? Therefore one example is given. तद यथा अस्मिन्नाकाशे शेनो वा सुपर्णो वा विपरिपत्य श्रान्तः संहत्य पक्षौ संलयायैव ध्रियते एवमेवं पुरुषः एतस्मा अन्ताय भवति अन्ताय धावति यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन कामयते न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति. Here example is given. Like the vultures, they are flying right up in the sky, see, going very high in the sky. And Suparnaha with very strong, beautiful wings, yes. And Viparitya Shrantaha. Then after some time, their wings become tired. They also are tired. Shrantaha. Then Samhatya Pakshav. Then they collect their both the wings and samlayaya dhriyate evameva purushaha. And then they close their wings and they come back and land in one place where the opening and functioning of their wings is not required. See? Dhriyate evam ayam purushaha. In the same manner, this Purusha is etasma antaya dhavati. So here Purusha means what? The conditioned consciousness, the jiva. He also gets tired of this waking world. The same thing, good and bad, and finally working day and night, and you get tired, and then even in the satsang he goes to sleep because he's tired of satsang also. See? Evam ayam purushaha etasma antaya dhavati. Then to get rid of the tiredness of this waking and the dream experiences, antaya dhavati, he goes back within, and yatra supto no kanchan kamam kamayate. Now in that deep sleep, suptaha, there is neither the desire nor the dream. See? So these two types of birds which were told, one is the waker, second is the dreamer. See? Then he goes back to sleep. So yatha asmin आकाशे भौतिके शेनो वा सुपर्ण शब्देन क्षिप्रहासेन उच्यते तथा आकाशेस्मिन् विहत्य विपरीत्य श्रान्तः नाना परिपतनलक्षणेन कर्मणा परिखिन्नः संहत्य पक्षो संगमस्य संप्रदायार्थ पक्षौ. सी, so he collects his wings and सम्यक् लीयते अस्मिन् इति संलयो नीडः. So the bird goes back to his own need. A need means the nest, goes back to his nest, and then after having gone there, now he is relaxed. And this example is ayam purushaha etasme antaya dhavati. Therefore, why we go to sleep? Because the tiredness that we go through in the waking and the dream. Yatra asmin Yasmin supte na kanchana kamam kamayati. And in the deep sleep, what is the deep sleep? Where there are no desires, see, and therefore there is no activity. Tatha na kanchana swapnam pashyati. So neither he is having desires, nor he goes on dreaming anything. Na kanchana kamam iti swapna buddhau स्वप्न बुद्धांतरयो विशेषण सर्व कामं प्रतिषिध्यते कश्चन इत्यादि विशेषता विधानतात तथा न कंचन स्वप्नम इति जागृतेपि यद दर्शनम तद अपि स्वप्नम मन्यते श्रुति. So either the waking dream or the dream. What is the waking dream? We go on imagining, I had to do this, I had to do that, when this will happen, when that will happen. Daydreaming, what we call. All of them are no more available in the deep sleep, and tatra traya avasata asyatra sapnaha in Ether Upanishad says these are the three places where the jiva is going. That means the same Paramatma with the three conditionings. Some places he becomes the son, some places he becomes the husband, in some places he becomes the father. See? This example which I have been giving 100 times, it should click one day. As a son, as a father, as a husband, alone we are disturbed and miserable. As a man, we are not. As a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, we are disturbed. As a woman, we are not. Recognize this again and again and again. See, friends. Nobody can help us in this thing. Yatha drishtante pakshina paripatanaja shamanupattaye swanido samarpanam evam jagra swapnayoho karyakarana संयोजक क्रियाफलैः संयुज्यमानस्य pakshinaः paripatanaja iva shramo bhavati. Like the birds, they are extremely tired, and therefore swanida samarpanam, they go back to their nest in the same manner. Jagra swapnayoho karya karana sanyoja kriya falaihi sanyojya. The one waker who is associated with the gross and the subtle experiences, body, etc., then paripatanaja iva, like the bird, he is so tired, shramo bhavati, tasmad anupapattaye, tasmad apanupattaye, स्वात्मनो नीडम आयतनम सर्व संसार धर्म विलक्षणम सर्व क्रियाकारक फल Phalaya sashunyam swam atmanam pravishati. Therefore, this waker and the dream, having got tired, then they go back to their own self. Swam atmanam pravishati. Be attentive. Therefore, what is the deep sleep? Deep sleep is we come back to our own self. Because in deep sleep, we are not identified with the gross body or the subtle body. And therefore, our waking experiences are different. Our dream experiences are different. But our deep sleep experience is common because their differences are totally absent. This undifferentiated, homogeneous experience is the Paramatma. Only problem is we do not recognize this. In Sampradnyat Samadhi, this Viveka Khyati clearly happens. So although we are going through the experience, yet experiencer is not born. Although we are going through the knowledge, the knower is not born. Although we are going through the miseries, a miserable entity is not born. This is the Sampradnyat Samadhi or Sampradnyat Yogi. He is living in this relative world. So who is the Sampradnyat Yogi according to Bhagavad Gita? Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sayyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. The one who is awakened to his essential nature, although living at the thought level, yet he is not getting identified with the world of duality, and therefore, although living in the relative world, he is abiding in the absolute truth. How simple it is. Nobody can do it for us. We have to work ourselves on this. See? Now, we go further in this topic. यदि अस्य अयम स्वभावः सर्व संसार धर्म शून्यता पर उपाधि निमित्तं च अस्य संसार धर्मित्वं यन्निमित्तं च अस्य परोपाधि कृतं संसार धर्मित्वं सा च अविद्या तस्य अविद्याया किं स्वाभाविकत्वम् आहोस्वित् काम कर्मादि वद आगंतुकत्वम्. Now here a question is raised. If asya svabhavaha, it is the essential nature, what? That the Paramatma is sarva samsara dharma shunyata. There is no trace of relativity or sense of otherness is the Paramatma. If this is true, and para upadhi nimittam cha samsara dharmitvam. And it is because of the conditioning of the upadhi, he becomes something or the other. Yan nimittam chasya para upadhi krutam samsara dharmitvam sacha vidya. And why this happens? We get identified with the upadhi because of the avidya, ignorance. Tasya avidyayaha kim swabhavikatvam. Now the question comes, is the ignorance real? Is it natural? See, ahosit kama karmadi avagantukatvam. And therefore, if this ignorance is natural, then there will be karma, there will be desire, etc. Yadi cha agantukatvam tato vipaksho upapadyate tasya cha agantuke kopapattihi. And if it is superimposed, then the question comes that it can be removed. But if it is real, tato vivaksho upapadyate tasya cha agantukatve kopapatti. And suppose it is associated, ignorance is associated with the Paramatma, then why ignorance is not a quality of the Paramatma? And therefore, iti sarva anartha bija bhutayaha avidyayaha sattattva avadharanartham cha parachandikandika arabhyate. Now here we are going to enter another very important topic. What is the position of avidya or ignorance? If ignorance is associated with the Paramatma, the Brahman, as the natural condition, there is no possibility it can be removed. And if it is not, then the question is where from it has come? What is the position of that ignorance? This is the topic he is now taken for discussion. See. तावा अस्येता हिता नाम नाड्यो यथा केशः सहस्रदा भिन्नः तावदाणिन्मां तिष्ठन्ति शुक्लस्य नीलस्य पिङ्गलस्य हरितस्य लोहितस्य पूर्णा अथ यद् येनैव घ्नन्तीव जिनन्तीव हस्तीव विच्छाययति गर्तमिव पतति यदेव जाग्रद्भयं पश्यति तदत्र अविद्यया मन्यते अथ यत्र देव इव राजा इव अहम एव इदं सर्वम् अस्मि इति मन्यते सो अस्य परमो लोकः. Now in this the position of the avidya is being explained. See, there are hita nadiya. We have seen also in the earlier chapters of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. In deep sleep, there are hita nadi, there are 72,000, starting from the heart. And through that, the whole, the Vyana Vayu and the whole body is permeated by those, and through that, the whole life permeates, and this is how the body is maintained. Therefore, these hita nadis, they are, sliced into millions and very thin, like the hair, and they are Shukla, Pita, Harita, different colors. And then what they do, these nadis are filled with the various kind of rasa or the various kind of things, and because of that the person gets killed or he is controlled, and as if the elephant is killing him or he is fallen in the thing. All these kinds of fears of the waking are seen also in the dream, and this is because of the avidya, ignorance, and therefore he starts thinking that he is a king, then he starts experiencing that. In this manner, it is only the life which is flowing through the nadis, they create various imaginary influences. See? यथा केश सहस्रदा भिन्नः तावत् तावत् परिणामेन अणुत्वेन तिष्ठन्ति ताश्च शुक्ल रसस्य नीलस्य पिङ्गलस्य हरितस्य लोहितस्य पूर्णा एते शुक्लत्वादिभिः रसविशेषैः पूर्णः इत्यर्थः. So various kind of rasa, various kind of things which are provided to the body through this nadis. Ete rasanam varna visheshaha vata pitta shmesha nam itare itara sanyoga vaishamya vishaya vichitra bhavascha bhavanti. So there are different type of nadis. According to our Ayurveda, it is vata, pitta and kapha. Because of that, the various kinds of experiences one goes through, and there are so many good or bad experiences. So तासु एवं विधासु नाडीषु सूक्ष्मासु बालाग्र सहस्र भेद परिणामासु शुक्लादि रसपूर्णासु सकल देह व्यापिनीषु सप्तदशंकम लिंगम वर्तते. Therefore, this linga deha, the subtle body, is thus permeating in and through all the 72,000 nadis, and there, because of the kapha, vata, pitta, different kinds of experiences, vasanas are contained, and because of these vasanas, this subtle body is created, and when the essentially it is without any particular quality, but because of the vata, pitta, kapha, etc., they become influenced as if, and then he starts imagining that he is good or bad animal, plant, etc. In this manner, अथैव सति यत्र यस्मिन् काले केचन शत्रवः अन्ये च वा तस्कराम आगत्य ध्वन्ति इति मृषैव वासना निमित्तः प्रत्यय अविद्याख्यः जायते. Then in that experience of the dream, the various kinds of imaginations are projected, and then these are the mrusha eva vasana. They are the imaginary impressions, and therefore this is called as the avidya pratyaya because of the erroneous understanding. And therefore he is imagining that somebody is killing me, somebody is beating me, I am miserable, I am unfortunate. In this manner, this is the result of this avidya. So avidya is not associated with the Paramatma, but it is the Prakriti with which the Paramatma is expressing, and therefore it appears as if there is something like the sun is reflected in the ocean. Now the waves are modifications on the surface of the ocean, and therefore the reflection appears to be getting influence. So getting influence is not the dharma of the sun, nor that of the reflection of the sun. It only appears. Therefore, what is avidya? Avidya is not the absence but incomplete knowledge. If the knowledge is yes, there is a reflection. Yes, it is appearing that it is disturbed, it is moving. But who is moving actually? It is the waters which are moving in the form of the waves. And therefore, it is not the reflection that is moving, it is not the sun that is moving, it is the water only. So the movement of the water is superimposed on the reflection, and then we start telling that the reflections are moving. This misunderstanding or incomplete understanding is the cause of the samsara. Therefore, avidya should not be mistaken as absence of knowledge. Therefore, काष्ठाम गताया विद्यायाम परिनिष्ठते सर्वात्म भावे सर्वात्मना निवर्तते रज्वामिव सर्वज्ञानम रज्जु निश्चये. In the same manner, like on the snake and the rope, when we come to know idam avidyaya satatvam sahakarena pradarshitam. Therefore, because of this erroneous understanding, all the effects were shown, and vidyayasha karyam sarvatma bhava pradarshitaha avidyaya viparyayena. And then by the vidya, by the right understanding, the sarvatma bhava, one comes to know that I am supporting the waking, I am supporting the dream, I am supporting the deep sleep, I am supporting the samadhi, and yet I am beyond all of them. So I have become waker, but I am not waker. I have become the dreamer, but I am not dreamer. I have become the deep sleeper, but I am not the deep sleeper. I have become the samadhista purushaha, but I am not. This is all. This we can again and again recognize. Like the vision is illuminating all colors and forms, but vision has neither color nor form. See? But what happens? We get obsessed for no logic, no reason. I like this color, this form. And samsara begins. Therefore, we told you, spiritual practice is living at zero complaint level. We don't have to achieve anything or get rid of anything. We have to. But when we are living in the relative world, we should be strict. We should be clear about what is being done, what is not being done. There our emotions should not come and destroy the joy of life. See, if you are operating a person as a doctor, that time you should not become a vegetarian. I don't like blood and all that. Then you should have become only a accountant. See, therefore friends, idam avidyaya satatvam sahakarena pradarshitam vidyayasya karyam sarvatma bhavaha. So, by the right understanding only we come to know that I am the substratum supporting all the experiences, and none of the experiences have ever influenced me. Childhood has come and gone, we are the same. The teenager has come and gone, we are the same. Middle age has come and gone, we are the same. Old has come and is going, we are the same. Now what sadhana can be done, tell me? No sadhana required. So, इदम अविद्या सतत्वम सह कार्येण प्रदर्शितम विद्यायाश्च कार्यम सर्वात्मवाह प्रदर्शिता अविद्या विपरेण. So we are told what is the meaning of vidya and avidya. Now, sacha avidya natmanah swabhaviko dharmaha. Now this avidya is not the essential nature of the self. यस्मात् विद्यायाम उत्कृष्यमाणायाम स्वयं अपचीयमानायाम सति काष्ठायाम गतायाम विद्यायाम परिनिष्ठिते सर्वात्मभावे सर्वात्मना निवर्तते रज्वाम इव सर्पज्ञानम रज्जु निश्चये. See? Therefore, the snake that we are seeing, when we come to discover that it is a rope, then all these things associated with the snake and fear, etc., disappear. In the same manner, by this proper understanding, when we come to discover that we are alone supporting all the experiences, and none of the experiences we are either attached or influenced. That's all. See, water and the reflection of the sun in the water. Now it is the nature of the water to reflect, and therefore the sun got reflected. See. Now, is the entry of the sun in the water as a reflection, is it a real entry? It appears, but it doesn't enter at all. And then the movement of the reflection because of the movement of the water, that is also not real. Because in that appearance, it is the water that is appearing. And why it is not a reflection that is appearing, that is moving? Because reflection doesn't exist. Like we can fish out the fish from the waters, can we fish out the reflection from the water? No. Can we separate the man from the husband? Think. Can we separate the mother from the woman? And who is miserable? This husband, this mother. How can we help them? See, my friends, therefore, when we are studying Vedanta, we should be very clear. A sentimental person is not qualified to study Vedanta. He will always remain only confused and frustrated. See? So, sacha avidya atmanaha sacha avidya na atmanaha swabhaviko dharmaha. Therefore, ignorance or the incomplete knowledge is not the nature of our essential self. See? But what happens? Now, this example is also very common. Our vision can see only in a particular spectrum of light waves. Vibgyor, starting from the violet up to the red. This is the only spectrum of light waves which can be seen by our vision. And if we insist that there are no light waves beyond this particular spectrum, then we are under the influence of ignorance, incompleteness in knowledge. What is the completeness in knowledge? That the light waves are beyond our perception. It is the limitation of the instrument through which we are perceiving. It is not real. Therefore, avidya is the incomplete knowledge. Apurna jnanam, not the complete. We have the jnanam, knowledge, there are colors, yes, but this is not all what we see, it is beyond that. Therefore, aupadhika jnanam is ajnanam. The knowledge which is gained through the limitations of the sense organs, etc., is ignorance. And therefore, when we go beyond all these means of knowledge, which are the means of knowledge? Sense organs, mind and intellect. So when we go beyond that, what will be our experience? We go beyond all colors and forms. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, gone. Then beyond the mind, therefore joy and sorrow is gone. And beyond intellect, concepts gone. So what is the truth? Attributeless. See? Good or bad experiences less and non-conceptual. यस्माद् विद्यायाम् उत्कृष्यमाणायां स्वयं अपचीयमाना सती काष्ठं गतायां विद्यायां परिनिष्ठिते सर्वात्मभावे सर्वात्मना निवर्तते रज्ज्वामिव सर्पज्ञानं रज्जुनिश्चये. देखो, when we come to know that this is the rajju, the rope, the snake disappears. Now be attentive. When we come to know the self, will this world disappear? No, it will not disappear. Then that we are taking it to be real, that reality attributed to the appearance will disappear. See? Now this is also example I gave a number of times. When we stand in front of the mirror, you cannot stop reflection from happening. And it is for anybody. Whether we stand in front of the mirror, there will be reflection. Whether a bird stands in front of the mirror, there will be reflection. Now what is the difference between these two? We don't take the reflection as real, although we see. But a bird takes the reflection as real and he suffers. Exactly the same way. Body identification will happen. You cannot stop it. Wise people, Jivan Mukta Purushas, those who are abiding in the Sampradnyat Yoga, although they are living as the body for us, but from their standpoint, they are living through the body. They don't take the body identification as real. How important it is, my dear friends. Therefore, Sarvatma Bhave Sarvatmana Nivartate Rajvamiva Sarvajnanam Rajunishchaye Tatha cha Uktam Yatra tu asya sarvam atmaiva bhut tatkena kampashet. Therefore, when one comes to know this absolute reality, then who is seeing what? That means knower known difference, relative difference, friends, enemies, everything disappears. Ityadi tasmad na atmana dharmaha avidya. Therefore, ignorance is not the dharma of Atma or the Paramatma. Nahi swabhavikasya uchyati. And if it is real, it can never be removed. Therefore, kadachit upapadyate savitu aushnya prakashayoho tasmat tasya moksha upapadyate. See? Like the light and the heat cannot be removed from the sun, in the same manner, our essential nature is untouched by the avidya. It has no place for the avidya or the ignorance. See, my friends, we have to ourselves work on this. Nobody can do it for us. Now, what is the meaning of this moksha? Is given through an example. Now this example is very tricky. One can misunderstand it more than understand it properly. Idanim yaha asau sarvatma bhavaha mokshaha vidyaphalam kriyakaraka phala shunyam sa pratyakshataha nirdishyate yatra avidya kama karmani na santi tade tat prastutam yatra supto na kanchan kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati iti. See? Now, Sarvatma Bhava Mokshaha. So, what is liberation? Liberation is absolute absence of the duality. There is but Sarvatma Bhava. In and through, there is but one truth. See, there is moksha. What is the moksha for the son? That he is a man. What is the moksha for the father? That he is a man. What is the moksha for the husband? He is a man. That's it. Then what he has to do? Like the reflection in the mirror cannot be stopped, in the same manner, relations will continue to exist. But we will not become miserable because of the relations. Then play the game of life, Karnataka. The more we get asserted in this understanding, we will live as required in the relative world, but we will not get entangled in this relative world like an actor acts according to the dialogues given to him, according to the acting that he has to do. He acts, he says the same thing, but at the same time he knows he is not saying or doing anything. See, therefore, what is the meaning of the moksha is sarvatma bhava, and where the vidya phalam, the net result of this understanding, wisdom, knowledge is kriya karaka phala shunyam. There is neither the doer nor the karma phala and nor any attainment or a failure. Sa pratyakshaha nirdishyate. So there is neither desire nor karma nor achievement or failure. This is now indicated directly. Yatra avidya kama karmani na santi. Where avidya kama karma, ignorance, desire and karma. These three together is called in Vedanta Shastra as the Hridaya Granthi. It is not there. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi chidyanti sarva samshayaha. Kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. When we come to know that the absolute is absolute, although expressing through the relative, when this knowledge takes a para avara, then these three things, avidya kama karma, is gone. Tadetat prastutam, that is being shown. Yatra supto no kanchan kama kamayate, na kanchana sopam pashyati iti. Now this is being said here in our next mantra number 21 on page number 966. What is this? We'll see it in tomorrow's satsanga. Tadva asya etadichanda apahata papma bhayam rupam tadjatha priyaya striya sampari shvaktah na bhahyam kinchan veda na antaram eva ayam purushah pradnena atmana samparishvaktah na bhahyam kinchana veda na antaram tadava asya edar aptakamam aptakamasya kamarupam shokantaram. Now the meaning of this mantra and the depth of it, we'll leave it for tomorrow. पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम.